Hello everyone, welcome to Krishna's online lectures. In this video of engineering mechanics, I am going to discuss analytical method to solve problems of trusses and frames. So let's start the lesson. So here I am going to discuss methods which generally used to solve numericals related to trusses and frames. So here basically we use two methods. One is the analytical method and another is the graphical method. So there are mainly two methods we generally use to find axial forces on truss. So here if we see this particular example or this particular diagram which is representing the truss or frame. So here we generally consider two types of forces. One is the external force which always act at the joint of the truss. So this particular force which is acting at the joint only, that is called the external force. And another force we consider as the effect of external force, and that effect of force is acting actually over each member of the truss. So here these straight lines are representing the members. So at each member we are considering effects of external forces in the form of axial tensile force or axial compressive force. So if we want to determine the axial force which is acting in this particular truss or on each member of the truss, so we generally use two methods, analytical method and graphical method. So here I am going to discuss about this analytical method. So analytical method is divided into two parts. So first method which is related to analytical process, that is method of joint, and second one is method of section. So these two methods I'm going to discuss here one by one. But before going to discuss analytical method, you should know some assumptions which is related to trusses and frames. So first assumption here, it is related to joint. So each joint we have to assume it should be pin joint and the joint should be frictionless. So this point we have to consider. These are the basic assumption. Second assumption, external load or external force and reaction which is replaced here. Supports we generally replace by the reaction. So both external load as well as the reactions at the support should act at the joints only. Third, the member should be straight member and it should have uniform cross section. Cross section can be circular, it can be rectangular, or it can be square. So whatever cross section we are considering for each member, that member should be slender and the cross sectional dimension is quite less compared to the length of the member. So the straight member should uniform and it should have uniform cross section. So this is another assumption. Now next assumption, force act on the member along the center line or the collinear, or it should be collinear. So whatever member we are considering, for example here we have this particular member and this is the length of the member. So axial force should act along the center line or it should be collinear. So this is another assumption. And next assumption, this particular assumption I told you many times, the force should be two-way force only. Next assumption is member weight should consider negligible. Here we will not consider the weight of the member. The force which we are going to consider is the external force or external load and reaction at the support. And because of the reaction and external load, we will consider axial tensile and axial compressive load on each member. So this is another assumption. Next assumption, this truss should be statically determinate truss. And last assumption, the member of the truss should lie in a same plane. So here these are the assumptions we have to consider, or these are the points which we need to remember when we solve numerical related to truss or frame. Now let's start with first analytical method, that is method of joint. So here you can see this method is representing joint. So our main concentration should be joint. So here whatever truss we have, whatever frame we have to consider each and every joint of the truss or frame. So for example, here we have this particular truss. So if we talk about different joints, so let's name these joints A, B. So here we have 5 joints A, B, C, D, E, and member we are having AB, BC, CD, ED, CE, BE, and AE. So these number of members we have, and joint we have A, B, C, D, and E. So 5 joints we have. So as per the method of joint, we have to concentrate on each and every joint of the truss. So here each and every joint is treated as a free body diagram which is in equilibrium. So here we will consider each and every joint. For example, this joint A. So here we will take this joint A separately, and then we will find out the axial load or axial force which is acting along the member with the help of free body diagram concept. So here if we want to define the force or axial force which is applicable on different member, so here we have to consider equilibrium conditions. So these two conditions we will use, summation of fx equals to 0 and summation of fy equals to 0. So these two conditions we will use to define the axial compressive or axial tensile load which is acting on the member. Here third equilibrium condition, that is summation of moment equals to 0, we will use to define the reaction only. So this particular term we will use to define the reactions at the support, and to define the axial load we will use this summation of fx equals to 0, that is representing summation of all the forces which are acting in x direction will be 0, and summation of fy equals to 0 is summation of all the forces which are acting in y direction will be 0. So these two conditions we will use. Now how we will use this particular method of section to define forces or for the force analysis? So for example, here we have the same diagram. So let's take this joint A. And here at this joint A, how many members are connected and how many forces we have to define. So first member is AB. So at this particular member, we will consider force FAB. And with this joint A, another member is connected, that is AE. So here at this particular member, we will consider force FAE. Now accordingly, we will define the direction of forces. So if we are considering the direction of axial forces like this, so first this particular joint we will consider as a separate or a single free body diagram. So for joint A, we will define the free body diagram. So here I am going to draw the free body diagram for joint A. So here we have free body diagram for joint A. So this particular joint we are considering as a single or a separate free body diagram. So here we will apply two conditions, summation of fx equals to 0 and summation of fy equals to 0. But before this, we need to determine the reaction R. So this reaction R, for example, if we are taking reaction R at this point, at point A is R1 or RA, and at this point we will consider R2 or RD. So here we have to determine both the reactions. So we will use summation of moment equals to 0. So we can take moment about point A, moment about point E, or moment about point D. So at whatever point we can take moment. So if we are considering moment about point A, that is equals to 0. So here at this particular point, we will not consider any force, and rest of the force we will use to define the reaction at the other side. So we will use all the forces which are applicable in this truss, including these two external loads. Here at point B and at point C, we are considering external load. So we will include these two forces also to determine the reaction at point D. Suppose if we are using this point D, so here if we are considering summation of moment about point D, that is equals to 0. So at this particular point we will consider moment 0. So at this particular point we will not consider any load because distance at this point is 0. So this force multiplied by distance, because distance is 0, so total moment will be 0 at this particular point. So here we will define the reaction at another point, that is point A. And similarly, similar to previous case, we will use the external forces which are applicable on another point. So here what we will do, we will draw a perpendicular line from the line of action of these two forces P, and here if we are using point A, so from point A we will define the distance for this force P, similarly distance for this force P. So this particular distance is representing the perpendicular distance for both the forces, and these perpendicular distances we will use to define the moment of these forces, and summation of all the moments we will consider 0, so we can define reaction at both the points. So this is the method, and this method you will better understand when we solve the numerical. So here let's see the free body diagram. So here this is our free body diagram for point A. So we will solve this particular free body diagram with the help of resolution of forces. So if we apply first condition, summation of fx equals to 0, so we will define all the forces which are acting in x direction. So here in x direction we have force FAE. So this is in, if we are considering in positive x direction, so this will be positive, and this FAB is making angle theta with horizontal. So here we have to define the component of FAB, vertical component and horizontal component. So with the help of resolution of forces, we will define FAB. This is inclined force. So this is acting in downward direction. So it will be in minus y direction. So it will be FAB cos theta. That will be equals to 0. So this particular term is representing summation of fx equals to 0. Similarly, we will define summation of fy equals to 0. So we will define all the forces. So here in y direction, the force is R, and the next force which is in y direction, that is FAB sine theta. So that is equals to 0. So here we have equation number 1 and we have equation number 2. But it's not necessary we can define these two forces FAB and FAE for the joint A only. Here we cannot define these two forces with the help of joint A free body diagram. So what we will do, we will take another joint. So at point B we have how many members? Member FAB, this member BC, this member BE. So we have to define, if we don't define FAB with the help of this free body diagram, so we will use another joint. Similarly, if we are unable to define the force on both the members, so we will use another joint, joint C. Similarly, we will use joint D and joint E. So if we want to define actual force on each and every member, so we have to consider each and every joint as a free body diagram, and we will apply the same concept, summation of fx equals to 0, summation of fy equals to 0 for each and every joint. And with the help of this resolution of forces technique, equilibrium condition technique and free body diagram concept, we can easily define all the axial loads which are acting on members. So this is about method of joint, where our main concentration should be joint, and the joint should be treated as a free body diagram which is in equilibrium. So this is the basic concepts related to method of joints. Now let's discuss another method, that is method of section. So compared to method of joints, this method of section is quite easy and shortest method. Method of joint is quite lengthy method where we have to consider each and every joint as a free body diagram. But here this method of section is quite short method compared to method of joint. So here we will concentrate on section of the truss. So whatever truss or frame we have, so in this method of section, we will divide that truss into two parts. So here, for example, here we have this particular truss, which is so here there are 5 joints we are considering, and there are 7 members we are considering: AB, BC, CD, DE, AE, BE, and this CE. So 7 members and 5 joint we have. Same diagram I am using, and it is subjected to 2 external forces P in vertically downward direction at point B and C, and it is supported at point A and D. So here we are considering reaction. So this is the basic truss or frame problem. So in method of section, if we want to define actual load on each and every member, so we have to divide this truss into two parts, and that division we will do with the help of one imaginary section. So you can see this dash line. You can see this dash line. So this dash line is representing imaginary section, and here we will use this imaginary line to divide this truss into two parts. So here this particular section is the left side section, and this particular section we are considering as the right side section. So here we will consider, or we will take, for to define the different forces, actual forces along the member, or to do the force analysis, we will first take left hand section, and then after that we will take right hand section, or you can take first right hand section or left hand section as per the convenience. So here we are not concentrating on each and every joint. Here we will use sections, either left section or right hand section. So for example, whatever section we are considering, that section should be in equilibrium condition, but this imaginary section should not cut more than three members of the truss. So here this dash line is representing as a section. So this dash line is cutting three members. So maximum three members should be cut by the imaginary section, not more than three members. It can be two members also, but not more than three members. This condition you have to remember when you are using method of section. So this imaginary section is cutting three members. So if we are considering left hand section first, so this section should be in equilibrium, and we will apply condition of equilibrium to define forces on each and every member which are considerable in left hand section. So here you can see in this diagram, if we are using left hand section, so how many members we can use? We can use AB, we can use BC, we can use BE, and we can use AE. But we will not use this joint E. We will not use this joint E for the method of section or to define forces. Here we can use joint A, we can use joint B, but we will not use the joints which are lying in the right hand section. We can use members, but we will not use which are not lying in the section which we are going to use to define the force analysis. After solving left hand section, we can use right hand section. But in right hand section, we will use joints which are lying in right hand section only, not left hand section. So this is about the method of section. And here we will use all the conditions of equilibrium: summation of Fx equals to 0, summation of Fy equals to 0, and summation of moments equals to 0. And to define the reaction, we will use the same concept, summation of moment equals to 0. So for that, we will use complete truss. If we want to define the reaction, so we will use complete truss, not left hand section, not right hand section. We will use each and every points or each and every member of the truss, and we will use this particular condition, summation of moment equals to 0. And what we will do, we will draw a vertical line along the line of action of force P, and these distances we will use. If we are taking moment about point D, so these distances should be used, and if we are taking moment about point A, so these distances. From point A, we will use all the distances. So this is about method of section. So what points you need to remember? Here, whatever imaginary sections we are considering, that section should not cut more than three members, and either we can use left hand section or we can use right hand section, and that section should be in equilibrium condition. So here we have this particular truss which is divided into two parts, and this section is cutting three members. So if we are considering these joints, so here we have 5 joints. So for member AB, here we have member AB. So force will be same at member AB, that is FAB. At BC, it will be FBC. At CD, it will be FCD. Direction we can decide accordingly. At BE, this force will be FBE. So here we have these number of members and forces which are acting actually over the member. So for example, if we are considering left hand section which is in equilibrium, first we are taking this particular section, this left hand section. So here we will first apply the summation of moment equals to 0 to define the reaction. Or we can also use this particular condition to define the actual loads. But here we will not consider the forces and the joints which are lying in the right hand side. Or we can use summation of fx equals to 0, or we can use summation of fy equals to 0. But these three equations should be applicable for this particular section. And if we are considering summation of fx equals to 0, so all the forces which are lying in x direction, for example, this FAE is lying in x direction, this FBC is lying in x direction, and this FAB is in inclined condition. So if we are considering theta, so we have to define the horizontal component of FAB, and this FBE we are using, so we have to define the horizontal component of this FBE for the x direction. Similarly, for y direction we can use all the forces which are acting at the left hand side. So this is the basic method to solve trusses with the help of method of section. So these concepts you will better understand when you solve the numericals. Now here I'm going to discuss few conditions which is related to method of sections as well as method of joint. So first condition is when we are considering one member, let us consider member AB, and this member is not at all subjected to any external load. And if we want to define the actual load which is acting on this particular member, so if any member which is not subjected to any external load, that will not be in equilibrium, and the actual load which are acting over that member will be 0. Here if no external load. So condition is what? When any truss is not subjected to external load, or the member of the truss is not subjected to actual load, in that condition this particular single member will not have any actual load, neither actual compressive nor actual tensile load. Second condition, when there are two members are joined by one single joint. Here this point A we are considering as a joint, and this joint A is joining member AB and member AC. And this particular, neither AB nor AC is subjected to external load, and these two members are not collinear. So if there is no external forces acting on the member, as well as members are not collinear, in that case also the actual load which is acting on member AB and member AC will be 0. So FAB and FAC on both the member which are not collinear will be 0. Now third condition is when we are considering three member AB, AC and AD. This is AD. And member AB and AC are collinear. So when two members are collinear and third member AD which is not collinear, it is acting at particular angle with one member, for example AC, and these three members are not subjected to axial load. So in that case the member which is not collinear, it will be 0. FAD, the force which is acting on the member which is not collinear. So the FAD, actual load on member AD will be 0. But we can consider actual load on AB and AC because these two members are collinear. So FAC and FAB, which is considerable as the actual load on member AB and member AC. So both the forces will be equivalent. So here these three conditions you have to remember. These are very important conditions. You can use these conditions while solving numerical of trusses and frame. So this is all about different methods, analytical method, method of joints and method of section to define or to solve numericals or problems related to trusses and frames. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can rate and review this particular video and share with your friends and your known people. And if you want to watch more lessons related to mechanical engineering, please subscribe.